And welcome back to the channel, Health No Filter. My name is Tristan Lowe, qualified personal trainer and sports massage therapist. For those of you watching on YouTube in early September, you can see here I'm holding up a little sign that says press-ups, okay? Press-ups, or depending on where in the world you are, push-ups even maybe. But let's talk about it, press-ups. The point of today's short discussion is, last week I was at the doctor's waiting for an appointment. And when I was waiting in the waiting room reception area, a couple of parents on more than one occasion brought their kids in. The kids would have been anything between 11, maybe up to 15, but certainly, you know, still at school, junior school, maybe even senior school, but children nonetheless, these boys. And on two occasions in the space of less than half an hour, what I saw was these boys were not just overweight, but they visibly had what you could class it as Gynecomastia. They had excess fatty tissue around the chest area, yeah? Or, you know, there's a crude term for it, man boobs. What age you have to be for man boobs to be classed as man boobs, or boy boobs, for want of a better phrase, not a phrase I would use. However, it was the visible signs of Gynecomastia, essentially an imbalance in the hormones in the body of the boy. And I saw it on two occasions, remember, in only 30 minutes of waiting in the doctor's reception. These were boys that weren't just overweight. They had almost the physical frame of a middle to senior aged woman, a middle to senior aged overweight woman, in terms of they were carrying so much excess fat around their body. Not only did they have a double chin or triple chin, okay? Not only did they have a protruding belly and a waistline like a middle to senior age woman, okay? They had breast tissue. It looked like breast tissue. You could see it through their t-shirts. It's middle of summer, don't forget. And it looked absolutely horrendous. On both occasions, both of these boys from separate families were with their parents. One was with his mum. I can't remember the second one because he was walking around the doctor's waiting room reception area, and I couldn't remember which parent he was with, but they were from separate families. They're both dressed in shorts and t-shirt, looked like normal kids to some degree, but what they had was the early onset, or at least, you know, stage 2 of excess fatty tissue around the chest muscles, man boobs or gynecomastia. Not only is it very, very unhealthy, it's very unsightly as well. Now, what's interesting is both of these boys, again, they were the age of maybe 11, maybe 13 at the most. They weren't possibly yet old enough to really seize control of their health. If they were 16, 17, 18, maybe, but these boys were 11, 12, possibly 13, okay? I've got a lot of experience training men in their 40s to 70s, but I've also trained teenagers as well. And bearing in mind, I started martial arts at the age of 11, so I know what it's like to be a young boy doing sports and fitness. So on this occasion, it will be down to the parents, the mother or the father or both, and they're after a certain time. Now, you may think, well, why am I talking about this when the title of the episode was press-ups? That could be one thing that will have significant impact, beneficial physiological improvements on those two boys, who had man boobs, gynecomastia. If they only started doing press-ups on a daily basis, which when you're that young you can do, the bodies are soft and pliable and they adapt very quickly. Even if their nutrition was still poor, and I know 99.9% their nutrition was poor, because they were both grossly overweight for their age, okay? Even if they had poor sleep and poor nutrition, okay, and poor education and poor academic or emotional intelligence, if they only did one thing and started doing press-ups every day, started with 1, building to 5, then by the end of the week or next week started doing 10, then 2 sets of 10, 3, 4 sets of 10, moved it up to 15, 20. If they did that, it would have such a physiological change on their body. That's not to say that it would actually have enough of a change to bring back into balance their hormones in their body. I'm not saying that. That's for a specialist GP, endocrinologist, something like that. But what I can tell you is these boys clearly had a hormone deficiency or a hormone imbalance in their body. And that's why they had the physical features of a middle to old age lady who's overweight. Okay. Or even an old age man who's overweight, but they only looked like young men because they were clearly boys with the haircuts and the sports kits. All right. So press ups. Why don't dads, school teachers, mums get their boys to do press ups? Well, I'll tell you why. They don't want to. It's not in their interests. It's not in the interest of the father who doesn't care about his boy's health, that he doesn't get his boy doing press ups in the house, in the garden, in the garage, on the driveway, in the martial arts club, the boxing club, in the gym. Okay? And a father, okay, by definition, should seize control of the boy's physical health. If he doesn't, then it's left to the mother. Okay? The mother's there for the caring, the emotion, the soft touch with the boy to reassure him. The father's there to train him and make him strong, fit and useful. Otherwise, he's weak, unfit and useless. The opposite of strong, fit and useful, is weak, unfit and useless. That's the English dictionary language. That's not me making it up. If your boy, your son, your brother, your friend, a boy, a young man, a middle-aged man, doesn't do press-ups, unless he goes and works out in the gym and does bench pressing, and cable work and TRX presses, or he works out in combat sports or something like that, he's going to have a weak physical pectoral area. Now the muscles compress, they can pull, they insert into the upper arm and to the shoulder. It's actually quite a relatively complex area of muscle. And that's why when you do see young men join the gym, they gravitate to two things: treadmills, and the chest press machine, or they want a big strong chest, and absolutely you should do. That's not to say you should be trying to achieve the physiological hypertrophy of a bodybuilder. No, but you should have a strong, masculine, useful chest rather than a weak, feminine, useless chest. Okay, and that's where gynecomastia comes in. There is evidence out there to show that man boobs or gynecomastia or excess fatty adipose tissue that spreads around the body into the pectorals can actually be a genetic default or a genetic trait, or even those boys or men that are from different ethnic minorities or ethnicities are more predisposed. Well, if that's the case then, and you've learnt that or read that, then you should be doing even more press-ups. Press-ups cost nothing but a little bit of time. Okay, I've been doing press-ups now for, 54, 11, so 35 to 40 years at least. I've been doing press-ups for that long. And it's kept my chest relatively strong and functional, and whether aesthetically pleasing or looking well, that's a matter of opinion, okay? But what's a matter of fact is my chest area, my pectorals are strong. And when you train the chest, you train the shoulders, the upper back, the triceps, the back of the upper arm. So essentially you're doing an upper body workout to some degree. You're even strengthening your core, the abdominal muscles, okay, your lower back as well. Start doing press-ups. If your wrists are weak and they're not strong enough, then do them on your knuckles, okay? Put something under your hands or your knuckles to protect them. You don't want to be getting split hands. You're not going to go into combat sports or the front line of military issue. So do them on your knuckles on something soft, okay? That's not to be soft, but protect your skin, protect your outer shell, unless you're going to combat sports, boxing or martial arts, in which case do them bare on your knuckles. Otherwise, do them on your hands or do them on dumbbells. If you're too weak to do a set of press-ups, do them against a wall to start with. You're standing, you're only pressing about a quarter of your body weight. Then move to the floor and do them on your knees. So your knees are on the floor, your feet are in the air, and you do a press-up. You don't have to come down and touch your nose or your chest or your chin on the floor to prove you've done a press-up. Just bring your elbow joint to 90 degrees. So essentially, when you come down in the bottom of the chest press, your bicep, your upper arm is now parallel to the floor. Any further than that, great. Just watch the strengthening rotator cuffs if you're not used to it. Start them on your knees, move to your feet. You want strong chest, shoulders, upper back and triceps. You want to look good, feel good and be strong. The opposite of that is looking poor, feeling poor, okay, and being physically weak. That's the opposite. That's the English dictionary. Right. That's a quick one today. Men, uncles, brothers, teachers, stop letting boys off the hook. Get them into press-ups. And if you're a man and you don't do press-ups, there's only one reason why you shouldn't do that, okay? That is you've got such a bad injury to your chest, your elbows, your shoulders, you need to go through rehab, or you do a combat sport, okay? You do another type of sport which uses those muscles anyhow without having to do a press-up. Start doing press-ups today, gents, and maybe even girls as well, and women. You can do them as well. You may have to do a variation of them. Again, modify it, tailor it to yourself. Start doing press-ups. Remember, guys, if you don't do press-ups, that's a very, very suspect physiological behavior. Because what is your reason for not doing them other than serious injury, or your chest and shoulders and tricep muscles get worked out in sport, or even manual labor? You work on a building site all day. If it's not one of those three reasons, that is very, very suspect that you don't care about being strong and useful. Okay, sounds quite draconian, but it's not. It's anatomy and physiology. Yeah, okay. My name's Tristan Lowe. I'm a qualified personal trainer and sports massage therapist. I'm in my 17th year of services to people up and down the country. You can find me on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, or Apple Pods. The channel's Health No Filter. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share the episode with someone you know. It might benefit them. Right, that's it. Until the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.